everyone, welcome back to our channel where we're building a perimeter world-eating TNT flying machine thingy. In the last video we made these trenches around the area that we're going to make the perimeter in. Again, in this world, for this example, we're just making a small perimeter. In your world you'd want to make a sort of 300 or 500 square perimeter. This one's only about 90 blocks square. Just for demonstration purposes, the trenches were made with the TNT fly machines. They were fairly straightforward and easy to do. Today we're going to build a Neil Mango based design. Description to his video in the tutorial below, and I'm going to do a block by block tutorial because, as I said last time, there aren't that many building tutorials out there for world leaders. A fair number of videos where people have shown perimeters they've made or big massive flying machines, but no, I can't find a block by block tutorial anyway, so I thought I'd make one. Okay, now that we've got our trenches made, let's start building our perimeter making TNT flying machine world leader thingamajig. First thing we need to do is work out exactly where our 3x3, or where our 3 wide and our 15 wide trenches meet. We do this manually, it's not that difficult to work out, but I'm going to use Litematica to help me start building the world leader. Or we just go from this edge where it's clear against the gonna build our world leader with the corner here. I'm going to start on level 80, as I said before, to put a marker at level 80. There we go. That top redstone block is the corner of where we start building our world leader perimeter builder machine. At least this side of it. We'll also need a return station side over there for the other trenches, but let's get building on this side. I'm going to get rid of the Litematica trench guides for the minute. So we want to move 4 blocks in from this corner. We can leave the redstone block there for 5, 3, 4. And we want a slime block. Beside the slime block we want a sticky piston facing up. And what we're building here is the big vertical tower. If you've seen Neil Mango's video, this essentially allows the whole fly machine to move down every time a layer gets taken off. So a redstone block beside that piston to turn it on. This is the block that we'll remove and replace to start and stop our machine. Okay, and of that block, I'm going to want a column of 3, 7 blocks. Another redstone block. And on top of that redstone block, we want a sticky piston. Inside it, add the sticky piston, 2 times the redstone block, front piston, just a normal piston facing down, go, and then 7 including the slimes above this piston. 7. Sorry, not 7, 6. And then block. Piston. Got our times here again. I'm here. Then we want 10 slime. Coming up. 10. Redstone. Piston again. Set the sticky. Redstone. Piston fist down. We want 4 of those sections with 10 slimes, and then the redstone sticky piston. Again. Piston block. And redstone block. Section so far. And redstone block. And we're going to add these bits in now. Slimes, redstone, piston. I am struggling to put stuff in the right place today. Slime, redstone, slime, and piston. And then on this top one, we put 6. No, it's 7 in total, including this one. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Then 1 in the direction of the area we're going to dig up, so that's north. We're going from south to north here. And in fact, oh no, I didn't note in the video, but I've been noting the video when I built the first of these, but I just realised these are on the wrong side. They should be on the eastern side. I believe should at least be facing north as well. Get that done. Okay, and these things, sticky pistons, are going to pull the slime down eventually, and as soon as this piston comes into this redstone, it'll push down as well, and that'll allow the fly machine to move down. Right, now back up the top of this vertical section, we stick in a redstone block here with a sticky piston on top. And on top of that sticky piston, we do 9 slime blocks. 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. Back here to do the observer and normal piston pointing down. And a slime block beside that sticky piston pointing up. And then back round at the front of our slime blocks, we place a redstone block with a sticky piston on top, and on the side of the sticky piston another slime. Then on this sticky piston we do E4 and 1, and over here again we do our observer and downwards facing piston. Then underneath the corner of these 4 slimes we put a redstone block with a downwards facing piston on the front of it. Beside this piston, 2 slime blocks, Downwards facing piston right here. Let's do the observer first. Observer. Downwards facing piston. Redstone block here. Oh, we should have done this piston first, so we need downwards facing normal piston right there, just diagonally up from the redstone block. Back here and upwards facing sticky piston. And on the back of our L shape, we want a downwards observer with a normal piston underneath it. And on top of this observer, we want some sand. Oh. There we go. And this is essentially one of our launcher modules. We're going to build the TNT duper under here right now. And then this launcher module and TNT duper just get duplicated for as long a machine as you want. TNT flying machine is actually really simple. Sticky piston underneath this piston. And a Z or a Z shape, depending on where you live. Of slimes and an observer on the top of this one. It's in this way. Oh. In survival, it helps to scaffold into lifesaver. Just build a massive tower scaffolding and stretch it bunch of towers and stretch it the length of your perimeter, and then it makes it fairly simple to build this. Now the bit with the TNT. So start at this bottom of the Z, 4 slime blocks. Take 2 out, put a sticky piston here, observer there. And I want our dead coral fan there. And this bit is a bit weird because we're going to put our TNT here and break that slime ball. First thing this whole machine's going to do is move down one. That'll put the TNT in the right position behind the dead coral. And then we want another slime there, because that's the usual L shape. And we want the other part of the L shape over here. Our wall, cobblestone, whatever kind of wall. Going to go here. Our detector rail and minecart go there. That's the TNT duplicator bit. It's the flying machine bit. Well, altogether it makes the flying machine bit. It also picks up another bit on the return side once it makes it there, which we'll get to shortly. The rest of this is pretty much modular. Starting with this slime on top of the sticky piston. We move 1, 2, 3 away. Go down 1, 2, 3. So that's the same L shape as here. And we start everything all over again with this L shape. But we don't need this observer. Everything else here, set that observer on this L shape. So I'll build one more of these modules on the video so that it's easy to follow. Observer, gravity block, piston. Use Dragon X for this. And a redstone block. This corner with a sticky piston beside it. Front of that sticky piston, put a temporary slime block. Want a piston pointed down. There's that slime block there. We need it for the next module anyway. And slime here and here. Redstone. Server. Piston. Piston in here. That's the launcher module bit completed, and I just need to do the TNT flying bit. Sticky piston pointed backwards with the Z or E of flying in front of it. An observer on the top. It's in the other way. Gotta be careful while you're building this because you don't want to accidentally set it off too early. 4 slimes there. Sticky piston. Server. Another slime here for the L. Another part of the L there. It'll pull my hot part. Pull there. Coral there. And it there. Vector rail and minecart are done. Just do this bit as many times as we need to get to the end of our perimeter. That's the top of the TNT top bit of the launcher with the TNT duplicators. I will do the bottom bit of the launcher with the water sweepers, and again this bit's modular as well. We'll build a couple of these modules and then we'll move over to the return station. So the first thing we need to build here is essentially a vertical flying machine. So this flying machine is going to move up and down part of this tower, and it is essentially the timer that stops the sweepers moving too early and flying underneath the TNT droppers. So let's build this, and at the end we'll show it all in action and you'll see all the parts working together. Down at the bottom here, where we got our start and stop block, we want a downward facing piston here. Sorry, I should have put this in earlier. This is not part of the vertical flying machine. This is part of this vertical tower that moves up and down. And a piece of slime here, redstone, and we need server in this way. Put that piston back. Top of this redstone, need a sticky piston. The sticky piston is going to move in and out and trigger an observer directly above it, which will start and stop the small vertical flying machine. On top of that observer, we want slime. 1, 3. Slime there, and we want an observer with its little butt pointing up with a trapdoor. Can't spell door. What's going on? Trapdoor there. And pointing into the trapdoor, we need another observer and a downwards facing sticky piston. And an upwards facing sticky piston beside that. And an L of slime and a redstone block right there. And then, to finish this off, we need an observer pointing out its little butt here, slime block here, observer on top, and a piston pointing down. And then we want a little small return station, just a few blocks above it. So count up 4 above this redstone, and then an upward facing sticky piston, and get rid of the redstone or the slime now. It was only for measuring some space. Slime blocks like that. Then an observer pointing backwards, and temporary block here to help us place our normal piston, and get rid of that temporary block. This is a little return station. This bit flies up, bumps into that and flies back, and in the time taken to fly up and down, leaves enough time so that the sweepers don't get caught under the TNT. And then as this comes down, this piston pushes down on the line of sweeper launchers, and then all the sweepers take off and clean up any water behind the TNT blasts. Let's build a couple of sweeper modules, and then we'll move over to the return station. So underneath this slime, we're going to hit another couple of slimes. In fact, these are only temporary blocks again. Upwards facing sticky piston, slime, redstone, downwards facing normal piston. Underneath this redstone, we need some terracotta, and we need this so that it doesn't stick to the slime of the sweepers. They come in and out. And we want inside this another slime block, and in here we need an upwards facing sticky piston. Now, all this might seem complicated, but I'll have the schematics in the description, and you can paste the schematics in your world and build using those as a template if you need to. I need 3 slime blocks here, an observer pointing this way, and a downwards facing piston, and an observer pointing down here. Essentially, this is a little launcher for a sweeper. So the first sweeper at the bottom here is effectively only like half a sweeper. Then we get into the bit where we can just place down a module with sweepers, and the module bits are repeatable the length of your perimeter. But this first one is kind of like half of one of these modules that we're going to build shortly. Let's put in the sweeper itself here, or the half sweeper. Oh, and we also need a slime block here and a downward facing piston on the back. Okay, let's get the sweeper in. Below here, 1 slime block, then a row of 4. At the end, we want an observer pointing that way. Need a normal piston pointing that way. Or let's do it the other way around. Observer, then a normal piston. And next we need a couple of glass blocks underneath, behind this observer. Then we need an observer in the front. Let's get rid of that glass one, so that we have room to put this in. And a sticky piston pointing backwards at the back of the front section. This is the front section of the flying machine. And we need... oh, sorry, that sticky piston goes on the end. Then we need a gap of 1. And a sticky piston pointing this way. And 5 slime blocks. 3, 4, 5. And in the second one in, we want 1 pointing up. And below that pointy up one, we want an observer there and an observer here. There we go. those slime blocks. And we want a normal piston over here. Oh, in fact, this observer powers this normal piston, but in fact needs to go over here. And then we want our other pistons, one pointing this way and one pointing that way. And that's one section, one flying machine done. First one, which is slightly different from the others. We're going to build the next module. This next module will just repeat all the way down the machine. So, and let's not forget to take away this slime over here. We have to be careful because if we take away this slime as it is now, this observer will power this sticky piston. And we don't want that because that might set the flying machine off. So get rid of that sticky piston first, then the slime. Then we can put the sticky piston back. So each module is going to connect together at this slime block. You'll see that the module is in the Litematica schematics below. So we're going to just build the next module here. So another slime block, then a redstone block, then an upwards facing sticky piston, and on top of that, slime block, server pointing this way, and downwards facing normal piston. Then in front of this piston we want another slime block, and over on the side one slime block, and 3 slimes, 2, 3, another redstone block, and then 2 terracottas below that. And this is the same terracotta stack that's here. And now we're going to build the front flying machine, and then the back flying machine. And the back of this flying machine is going to be the same, but the front is going to be slightly different because this one's a bit unique because it's right at the end. Then over at this redstone block, we want a downwards facing normal piston, and then upwards facing piston. With some slime on top. Then an observer. This is where the next module connects. Then a downwards facing normal piston. That's the same slime block as this one here. And we'll just finish off this module. Up here we need an observer, downwards facing piston, then a slime block here, and then we can make the sweeper flying machines again. So 1 in a row of 4, 8 observers, and a piston. These observers trigger these pistons to actually sweep the liquids. Oh, I made that too close. There should be an extra slime block in here. 1 and 5 on the bottom. Need server there with pistons underneath. And over here, a piston under server. That's one part of the sweeping machine. And then back here we need to back out of the flying machine. Need our sticky piston. Then I have slime blocks. Is just like the it's just like this bit reverse, except I just realized I built this too long. So this needs to go, and it will need one. We need one slime block up the top here. There we go. Then our observers. And our sweeper pistons. There you go. And you can see that these pistons, when they go in and out, and these ones all together, and the piston body itself, all together, they'll clear liquid across this whole length of ground. And then to extend the machine, you just build from this block down to here, and then carry on again. So I think we'll go over and do the return side next. Alright, let's get the return side done. Again, we need to find the exact intersection of our 3 wide trench and our 15 wide trench. So you do it manually. I'm going to do it the easy way, Litematica, so we can see our trenches intersect right here. Okay, so this is the very corner, just inside the 3 trench and the 15 trench at level 80. Okay, so now that we know that's the corner, let's mark one in from the corner. So if we use this as our base point, then we've got space, 1 row space on this side and 1 row on this side. So as long as anything we build is in line with this and not further out, then that means it's not going to bump into the edges of our trench. So from this, we take 6 spaces, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 7 is our slime block we want. Then we're going to build a tower similar to the other side. We're going to put a upwards facing sticky piston here. It's going to stay down for the time being. And again, this is the sticky piston that we can use to start and stop the machine. So if we place a redstone block here, that will stop the machine on this side. Above this, we need a downwards facing piston. Like this, 7 slime blocks going up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then let's go back down and do the back of this. So we're going to need a fine block here. In fact, there's the sticky piston, because it's easier if we put the observer in first, then the downwards facing piston. Then we need a redstone block back here, and sideways sticky piston. With an observer pointing up over that. And stick a fine block here. In fact, I maybe shouldn't have done these 2 right now, because they are part of the line, the vertical flying machine, the same way that we made on the other side. The vertical flying machine that basically works as the timer to make sure the sweepers don't get blasted by the TNT. We'll come back and talk about these in a minute. Let's finish the rest of our tower. So like the other side, we're going to go up pretty far here. We're going to use the same pattern that we used on the other side. 2 sticky pistons, 2 slime blocks, redstone block here and a downwards facing piston here. So that's the same pattern we used when we were doing towers, the big tower on the launcher side. Then we're going to put in 5 repeating sets of 10 sticky pistons, or you call it slime block sticky pistons. So 10 slime blocks, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. Redstone block, upwards facing sticky piston, slime block there, so that makes our downwards facing piston, slime, and then on this last one we do a stack of 5, 3, 4, 5 sticky pistons, redstone, sticky piston facing up, slime block at the side of that sticky piston, a slime on top, normal piston facing down, and on top of this sticky piston we want a row of 5 slimes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get rid of that piston for now, because we're going to put an observer here. Then we'll put in that piston. And then our slime block there. That's our full tower done, except for the timer vertical flying machine. So we've got this row of 5, and then a redstone block. And now we're getting to the part again that's modular about this design, the TNT return stations. So we're going to put a sticky piston facing up and some slime on top, and a normal piston facing down, like a little upside down L of slime there. And beside this slime, on the side of it, we want an observer pointing backwards, and slime underneath. We're making 5 slimes here, 4 slimes, and we want another slime in the front of that. And down below this, we want our terracotta again, so that the line machines don't stick to this. 1, 2. And then up here, we want a redstone block and an observer pointing this way. This will trigger the fly machine to return, and a downwards facing normal piston. And that is essentially all there is to this return station. Up here, put a redstone block. Instead of the redstone block being down beside that sticky piston, redstone block goes in the middle of this upwards facing sticky piston. Like that, remove that, and then the rest of this just gets repeated along here. So let's make the next module. And I think we also forgot to place a piston behind and below this observer at the top of our return station side. So you probably would have noticed that yourself, since there's a piston on all of the others. Got slime block there, piston pointing down. Those should still be on the same height. We want the observer pointing backwards. We have slimes underneath. 1, 2, 3, 4. and redstone block. This same row here, in front of this piston, and we want 2, 1, 2, the last is terracotta, 2, and inwards piston, observer facing this way, and redstone this way. And that's it. So you would just keep building this all the way along the length of your perimeter. And again, in survival, use some scaffolding. It really helps once you're up this high. And at the end of the row, you're going to finish off with this bit. So finish off with this sticky piston, and then everything in front of it. And don't place in this observer and this line of slime blocks. So this is how the end of your row should look. Earlier, I think I said that the last module finishes like this, with terracotta and that piston, but actually we need a slime block here beside that extended sticky piston, with an observer on top of it pointing backwards, and a piston pointing down on the back of it, and that will help push down the TNT duper when it comes over here. So that's how the last module finishes, and that's how it looks in the schematics linked in the description. Okay, so let's go down and do the sweeper return stations and the sweeper vertical flying machine timer. So like I said, these two bits are part of the vertical flying machine. Let's get that sorted. So on top of this slime block, we want another slime. Slime's there, and then these slimes back here. Sorry, 3 slimes in a row, not that 4th slime. Then a upwards facing sticky piston. Another L of slime, but in the other direction. And the downwards facing sticky piston in here. In fact, maybe we'll take that out for the moment, as we need to put in our upwards pointing observer on this block with the trapdoor on top. Again, this is exactly the same flying machine as we made on the other side. Trapdoor on top. Observer that's going to point at that trapdoor. And then we put our downward sticky piston in there and a redstone block here. Let's go and build the return station for that. Actually, before we do that, let's make sure we've got the last part of the flying machine. We need an observer pointed into this slime block, an observer pointing backwards, and then a downwards facing normal piston. This will push the row of sweeper return stations. I'm going to turn off my Litematica rendering, make this a bit prettier. Well, how pretty can a big trench with bedrock be? So let's go make this return station up here. So we're going to use 4 slime blocks. 3, 4. Top of that we'll have an upwards facing sticky piston. Get rid of those slime blocks. They're just spacers. Slime block on that. Slime block there. Server pointing that way. Slime block there, just as a holder while we place our downwards piston. Make that slime block, and there's our return station. So this will move down every time this pops into it. Essentially, this whole thing's designed so that the whole framework moves down in and pushes the TNT droppers and the sweepers down with it. So let's build the sweeper return stations. These are pretty simple as well. This whole return side is so much simpler than this side, and this side isn't even that complicated to begin with. So down here, below our vertical flying machine normal piston, we're going to put a couple of slime blocks. That one's a spacer. Then we're going to have an upwards facing sticky piston. 1, 2, 2, 3, 3 and 1. Redstone block. Behind that, a downwards normal piston. Beside it, an upwards sticky piston. And behind it, a slime block. And on top of this piston, a line of 3 slimes, an observer in the middle pointing in this direction, normal piston pointing down, and an observer pointing down here, slime, slime, redstone, and then some terracotta again. Is some blue stuff this time. Terracotta. And we're about to get into the repeatable module bits again. So I'll talk you through building it and then point out which parts of it repeat. And remember, we've got these modules in Litematica schematic for download in the description as well. In fact, from here to the next terracotta is the repeatable module. The end of our perimeter digger will finish with one of these, with a terracotta section. So everything from this bit to the next terracotta is what we're going to repeat down the length of our machine. So that was the slime redstone I just took out. And I have another one of these sticky piston, or sticky piston, slime, observer, downwards facing piston, slime in the back, and slime there, 1, 2, 3, redstone, upwards sticky piston, and this redstone, we want a downwards normal piston, some slime in here, and up here we want 2 slimes, observer, normal piston, and we want another slime, downwards observer, slime, and 2 terracotta. This is a repeatable section. From this slime block over to this terracotta, just repeat that ad nauseum down the length of our machine and finish on a row like this. And that, my friends, is basics of the entire World Eater perimeter digger machine. So above the terracotta on the return side, I think we forgot these pistons. Either that or I deleted them accidentally at some point in the build. So above the terracotta, 2 downwards facing normal pistons, 1 downwards facing normal piston above each terracotta. You've seen how to build every part of it on the repeatable modules. Seen how to build those, just beat them down the line. Look, quick corrections to things I think I said earlier. I think I said, like I mentioned, that we have to build this starting at 80. 80 is just where I'm building it for this world. The machine's about 95 tall. 85 tall maybe. Anyway, I think you can build it anywhere below 170. Y equals 170. And I think earlier I also said that the TNT droppers pick up an extra piece of their machine from the return station. That's just not true. The entire dropper and flying machine is over there on the launching station. So what I'm going to do now is build on a couple of modules to make all of these the same length. I might build it all the way down to the end of this perimeter section, and we'll launch it and let it go. Some other things of note: when you're building this, turn up your render distance, or get someone to sit at the other side of the perimeter, or do something to make sure that the whole area never unloads, because if any of these flying machines unload, the whole thing can break, and that is a royal pain in the ass. It's almost impossible to get fixed, and you end up having to rebuild big sections of it. I've been there and done that. What you could do is mark a position where you know the TNT is not going to fall, so in between two these flying machines, and if your render distance is big enough, you can sit right in the middle of your perimeter, and that should keep the maximum area loaded, and hopefully my machine won't break. I'd also recommend doing this in a test world first, and then maybe using the schematics in this download. They'll build your machine in a test world, and then once you've got a full schematic for the whole machine, take that entire schematic to your survival world and build it there. Anyway, I'm going to get on with building the rest of this machine. So behind me is the completed world builder. I'll hopefully have stuck a time lapse or something of me building this. So for some reason replay mod broke on me last time I tried to use it, so there's no time lapse there. You'll know why. So I realized as I was launching this towards the end of the video that I made a big mistake in where to place the blocks when we were building the world leader. So the world leaders, both sides of them themselves are built correctly. The only thing is we started building them in the wrong place. So when I set this off, my TNT flying machines just flew right on past the return station, as did the water sweepers. So let's go and have a look at exactly where we should have built them. Let's look at the intersecting block between the 3 and the 15. So it is this one here. So that's at 350 244. You can see in the top right. I'm using, I think it's Massa's Tweakaroo mod, where we can get different, it's Massa's mini HUD mod, where we can get different information on the screen. Anyway, it's 350 244. That's in your F3 menu as well. So let's go up to where our Y level where we started building, so we can get rid of this redstone block now. That was where we first started. That's what we used to try and mark the corner initially. So that is Y80. So let's set block 350 80 244. And we'll stick a diamond block in the corner. There it is. That's the intersecting first block in where our regions intersect. So from here, if we use some terracotta, the reason for that is that it won't stick to our slime. So we take 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, including the diamond block. So this slime block should be adjacent to this 8th block here. So you'll see we built this one block too far in this direction. And if we go over to our return station, and this is probably not a big deal because it's probably still not going to bump into this side of the trench, so it's probably okay here. Or sorry, in fact, probably still not going to bump into the back side of the trench. Built it too far towards the back, so it's probably okay here. And it's okay to mark this distance out with terracotta because it's not going to stick to any of the slime on this side. So let's go over to the other side. And on the return station, where's our intersecting block? It is there. The color gets darker. That is 350,153. And we're up here at level 80 again. Let's set block. There's our intersecting block. The problem on this side is we use the intersection on the inside, not the outside, to measure. So let's measure with our terracotta again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. So this line block should be adjacent to the 9th block, including the diamond one. We've built this return station 2 blocks too far in this direction. And in fact, we've also built it 1 block too high. This slime block, where we started building, should be 1 block below the slime block on the other side, where we started building. So I'm going to fix this, and we'll come back to the video once I fix it, and we'll launch this and dig out our perimeter. And it's worth noting that in the Litematica schematics, I've put in these terracotta lines, because they're fine to be here, because they're not going to interfere with the machine. The slime will just slide past it. So I've put in these terracotta lines so that it's obvious where it needs to be built based on this intersecting diamond block. And I've also put a bunch of signs in the schematic to tell you where to build it, in terms of Y levels and so on. And the other thing that's worth noting about the Litematica schematics is please just use them as a build guide. Don't paste them in your world. When you paste them, the TNT droppers don't work properly. It's something to do with minecarts and activator rails. And if you paste minecarts and activator rails, the TNT duper doesn't work properly. So just use it as a build guide. I guess you could paste it into your creative world and then break all the minecarts and activator rails and replace them, and that should work. So let me fix this and then we'll be back. Okay, so we're back and we've now moved all this stuff into the correct place. So this slime block where we start, let me get rid of this Litematica overlay. There we go. This slime block is 8 blocks in from the corner where the trenches intersect. 8 blocks in and in one on this side. And then this slime block, remember that was level 80, this terracotta is at level 80. This slime block is 9 blocks in and 1 in this side, and is 1 level below the slime block on the other side where we started building. So I haven't tested it yet, but this should all line up perfectly now. And if it does line up, I'm going to say goodbye here, and hopefully pop in a time lapse of this working and blowing up all this land below us and making our little perimeter. So check back again soon. The next big project is going to be a mob switch for 115 and above. I'm just testing it at the minute in 116 to make sure it works before I make the video. Because the last mob switch video on this channel stopped working a few versions after I made it, so that was a bit annoying. I've got probably the easiest mob switch you can make for 115. Still not as easy as it used to be, but it's not that hard at all, and I've made it in my own survival world. So I'm just testing it now in Creative 116, and we'll get that uploaded as soon as possible. Thanks for watching, I hope this was useful. Please ask any questions in the description, and I'll try and help out. And many thanks to Ilmango and all the SciCraft guys, whose videos on World Eaters I've watched and ripped almost all of this from. So hopefully this is useful for them as well, because it means they don't need to go and make a block by block tutorial. Someone else was stupid enough to do it. Alright, hit like and subscribe and all the rest of that YouTube jazz, and we'll see you later. Bye bye.